All right, let's talk for a minute about time blindness and how that can affect us. So the first time that I heard about this, when I first saw it online, I was like, that's, even I thought like that sounds like something that's made up, all right? But I swear to you, it's not. After you watch this video, you're gonna just be nodding your head and saying, yeah, that's me. So we'll start out by explaining executive function, okay? Executive function is something that happens in the front part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, and it manages things like paying attention, switching focus, planning and organizing, managing time. And so people that have ADHD do not have fully developed executive function. That is why all of the things, all of the tasks that are involved in executive function do not work well with people that have ADHD. So let's talk specifically about time blindness. There are several videos on YouTube. In fact, I'll link them on this video, but there's a doctor by the name of Russell Barkley, Dr. Russell Barkley, and he does a phenomenal job of explaining this way better than I will. So watch those videos, please. But he says that it disrupts our perception of time. It literally, for somebody that has ADHD, disrupts the fabric of time. So I want you to think about your life, and I know this is going to resonate with me, all the times that you've been late to a meeting, or you've been late to a date or an appointment, you showed up on the wrong day, and you got there the wrong day just because you thought it was that day, but it really wasn't, or you got there late because you thought you could squeeze in one more task before you left the house, or you didn't compensate for the traffic, or the meeting or the appointment was at 4 o'clock, and you know it was only 20 minutes travel time, and it was 3:30. I can do that one last little thing, or I can watch a couple minutes of TV, and I'll leave right at 3:40. I'll get there on time. That is poor time management, and a lot of us that have suffered through that, it's hurt our self-esteem when employers have reprimanded us, or heck, even fired us because you haven't gotten there on time every day. You're always late. Why can't you get to work on time? Why can't you get to these meetings on time? It's something that affects us all, and then it eventually kills our self-esteem and our emotional volatility because we see ourselves as the problem. Why can't I do this? When somebody that's neurotypical, right, or normal is like, why can't you get there on time? I don't understand it. Well, we literally do not perceive the ticking of the clock. Sometimes for us, it just disappears altogether. And that leads us to not line up our intentions with our actions. We could have all of the intentions in the world to get somewhere on time, but it doesn't necessarily happen because our executive function is not working correctly. Okay? So it's interesting. Executive function, right? Prefrontal cortex is the front of the brain. The back of the brain, that's where all of our knowledge is. We could be the smartest people in the world. We could know that we have to get there on time, and we know the reasons why we need to get there on time. But if our executive function in the prefrontal cortex is not working appropriately, it doesn't matter how much you know or how many times you've been told, it's just not going to happen. Unless we take steps to help that, to correct that, to fix that. Can we fix it? Yes, absolutely. But our ability, our inability to perceive time outside of the present moment, it fans the flames of hyperfocus. So I'm taking that directly from an article that I am going to link in this post. Okay, it comes from ADHD Homestead. They said, our inability to perceive time outside of the present moment fans the flames of emotional hyperfocus. I'll explain what that means. as people with ADHD, we live in the moment. We are always in the now. That's why we can't appropriately plan for the future. It is extremely difficult for me to plan for my business 5 years from now. They'll ask me that all the time. What are your goals for the next 5 years? I have no idea. I don't know. I can't tell you what my plans are for the next 5 weeks because for me, it's difficult to plan. Can I force myself? Yes. Accountability is huge on that, and it helps. But it's not the way that my brain is wired to work. So we live in the now. We live right now in this moment. So when we have no concept of time, it makes it that much more difficult for us to get to places on time and plan accordingly, to arrive on time, to plan for the correct day. And look, the fact that we live in the now makes us really fun people, right? We might be the life of the party, and we might be the people that everybody wants to hang out with because we're really fun right now. But we're also the people that wives and husbands and business partners get upset at because we can't appropriately plan for 5 years from now, or for 3 years from now, or for 5 minutes from now. So for me, this has been a very, very, very big understanding. And now that I get this, like, wow, it explains so much of my life, where it's never been my intention to be late. Like, I don't want to get places late, right? I don't want to walk in the middle of a meeting and sit down all sheepishly, like, because I got there late. No, I'd love to be there on time. I'd love to be there early. Now I know why it's never worked out. And for me, that's been huge, because so many times I've been called irresponsible and lazy, and you just you don't care. That's a huge one, right? You don't care. That's why you didn't get there on time. No, I care. I had the intentions of being there on time. I just didn't have the ability. Research this. Look at the articles that I'm going to post. Look at the video that I'm going to post in the comments from this doctor, Dr. Russell Barkley. It really is phenomenal. He's got a bunch of videos about a bunch of different topics on ADHD, and for me, it was really enlightening. So I hope this helps. And if you've ever felt the way I felt, I hope it doesn't make you feel as bad.